In the all-new Frontier, the adventure begins where the road ends, so get out there and find your Frontier. The all-new Frontier has 310 horsepower standard for when the trail gets tough. Shop NissanUSA.com today to see more features the Frontier is loaded with, from premium interior and a 9-inch touchscreen and zero-gravity front seats. Find your Frontier today in the all-new 2022 Nissan Frontier. Shop NissanUSA.com.
In a game that was pretty tight all the way through three quarters, the Buccaneers offense exploded, emerging victorious over the Miami Dolphins 45-17. We saw Tom Brady air it out for over 400 yards and 5 touchdowns. We saw Antonio Brown set an NFL record, but we also saw linebacker Levante David go down to a high ankle sprain. We're going to dive into all of that and more right here on a reaction episode of Locked On Bucs podcast.
You are Locked On Buccaneers, your daily Tampa Bay Buccaneers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, and welcome back to the Locked On Bucs podcast. Thank you for making Locked On Bucs your first listen every day. Remember, Locked On Bucs is free and available on all platforms, including YouTube. Thank you to all who have already subscribed to our YouTube channel. If you have not done so, head over to YouTube, check out the Locked On Bucs channel, and please subscribe. I'm James Yarko, joined as I always am by David Harrison. You can find everything that we're doing over at BucsNation.com. Make sure you follow along on Twitter at LockedOnBucs, at JYarko_Bucs, at DHarrison82, and at Bucs_Nation.
James, you know who has subscribed on YouTube? Yusef.
Hey guys, this is Yusef out here in the Great Southwest. That Bucs game today against the Dolphins was fan-freaking-tastic, especially from an offensive standpoint. That's one of the most impressive offensive displays that I've seen in quite a while from that offense. Can't complain much about today at all. Like, obviously our defense wasn't perfect, but they did what they had to do today defensively. Hopefully Levante is okay. This doesn't sound like it's going to be that serious. I thought his knee got screwed up, but luckily it was not. It was his ankle, and hopefully that ankle was nothing to be too concerned about. So again, the defense did what they had to do. It was I kind of felt like a bend but don't break kind of day for them. We did let the Dolphins score a couple times, but at the end of the day, it was okay. Gotta turn around and have a short week of practice and get ready for Thursday night against the Eagles, who actually won today against Carolina. So that's going to be a tough game coming up. I mean, every game is tough, so I mean, it may sound kind of cliche, but on a short week, it's going to be tough. So I'm thoroughly impressed with today's game, and not a lot of bad things to say, but as I always say, I'm not going to get too high, but not too low either. Anyways, guys, as always, go Bucs.
All right, Yusef, appreciate the call. And yeah, in Week 5 of the 2021 NFL season, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defeated the Miami Dolphins 45-17, and now they advance to 4-1 on the year. This is the Locked On Bucs podcast. Thank you again for making us your first listen every day. The Miami Dolphins are going to fall to 1-4 thanks to this loss, and are 2 losses away now, James, from matching their 2021 total with 6 losses. And oh, by the way, they've got an extra game to play this year compared to last year as well. So some quick significant stat lines before we get into our storylines from this game. Tom Brady, 30 of 41 passing, 411 yards, 5 touchdowns. Jacoby Brissett, 27 of 39, 275 yards, 2 touchdowns, and interception. Linebacker Devin White and Miami Dolphins linebacker Jerome Baker tied for the game lead with 8 tackles each. Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense sacked Brissett 3 times, while the Dolphins defense got 2 sacks of their own. And a special shout out to defensive tackle Vita Vea, half a sack and a tackle, finally getting into the stat sheet, finally getting off his lazy bum and doing some work for this Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense. Tom Brady, first ever game with 400 plus yards passing and 5 or more touchdowns. Antonio Brown, fastest player in NFL history to reach 900 receptions, 143 games, compared to Marvin Harrison, who held the record before with 149. Imagine, James, what AB could have been doing if it wasn't for frostbite lawsuits, criminal charges, drama, business is booming, podcasts, all that stuff. A lot going on in this Week 5 win for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. What is your biggest storyline, you think, leaving this matchup?
The biggest storyline to me is Lavonte David. The Bucs were on a short week. Turn around, they go to Philadelphia, so they have to travel. They're playing Thursday night, and now they're losing a captain on the defensive side of the ball that is already without Sean Murphy-Bunting, is already without Carlton Davis, might still be without Antoine Winfield Jr. Now you lose Lavonte David, who is a huge, huge part of the run defense. He's a huge part of the pass defense, and you're going up against an Eagles team where they have two pass-catching tight ends in Dallas Goedert and Zach Ertz, and Lavante's a huge, huge part of being able to stop tight ends. So him going down to a high ankle sprain, which is what Bruce Arians said after the game that it was, he may miss multiple weeks. High ankle sprains are the worst to try to come back from. So that's definitely the biggest storyline in this one. For all the good that there was, Lavonte David going down was absolutely brutal. This team cannot catch a break with injuries right now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that, what you said earlier last week is going to be correct, and that, the injury bug is kind of biting the Buccaneers at the right time, and that by the time they get through all of these injuries, they'll get healthy, and then they'll be able to get put together. I mean, still, this defense, Todd Bowles has not had the same defensive alignment, the same defensive roster for 2 weeks in a row, like to this day, and it's amazing to me that the defense is still able to do what they've done. Listen, I know a lot of people are going to talk about how they maybe didn't like everything that they saw from the defense, and the Miami Dolphins, let's not get it twisted, they did leave some plays on the field there, but at the end of the day, this defense gave up 17 points to an NFL offense, and it's still an NFL offense. I got that Jacoby Brissett isn't the most dangerous quarterback in the world and all that stuff, but this is still an NFL offense. They still get paid millions of dollars on their side of the ball to put points up against opponents. So anytime you're able to hold a defense under 20 points, I mean, that's a successful day as far as I'm concerned. I think my biggest storyline, James, coming out of here is seeing kind of, I've never seen the movie, but Stella got her groove back, right? That's kind of what I look at this game. And I know there was some talk about that, and there was kind of some bite back a little bit, like, what do you mean? Why are you acting so surprised? All this stuff, like, we haven't seen this Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense really click at that high efficiency level like we did in this game, and I think that's a welcome sight to see come back. Obviously, you want to see it. You love seeing it in the Florida sun in Raymond James Stadium, you know what I mean? But putting up 40-plus points, I mean, this team had an impressive streak of 30-plus points per game going, and then that got broken. And they had 2 games where they didn't even come close to that. So to see them come out here and put up a 40 burger, I know Samar Ali over at the Loose Cannons wanted to see the 50 burger. Jake Arians told him that's what class does. It keeps you from putting up that 50, and you put Blaine Gabbert out there, you put the backups out there on the field, let them get some snaps, some reps, which could prove valuable, Sunday if you need it. Hopefully you don't need Blaine Gabbert, but the other guys who have some reps, that might prove valuable Sunday if you need them. So that's kind of what I'm saying, because moving forward, right, we're going to talk a little bit deeper about this defense and this offense here in a minute, but moving forward, if you need to rely on your offense to basically put up so many points that you're forcing the opposition, that almost kind of becomes a defense in itself, because you force the opposing offense to become one-dimensional, trying to keep up with the point splits that you're putting on the board. So to see that coming back, perfect timing, a short week here. If Lavonte does need to take the week off, which I predict he probably will at this point in time, I mean, high ankle sprains again, and you don't want him out there for one game. You know what I mean? It's the 6th game of the season. You don't need him out there chasing Jalen Hurts all over the field, trying to cover Zach Ertz, trying to cover Dallas Goedert, and getting hurt even more than he already is. Put Kevin Minter out there. Put Joe Tryon-Schwenka out there, that middle linebacker. Kevin Britt, not the best pass guy. Put Grant Stewart out there. At least with Grant Stewart out there, maybe you can distract Jalen Hurts with all the flowing locks flowing through the middle of the field, and he won't be able to be on target. Whatever it is, Lavonte David probably out for this weekend's game, or this Thursday night game. But again, if you're putting up 40 points against the Philadelphia Eagles, I think you're going to be okay.
Yeah, you absolutely should be. And, it was nice to see the offense kind of get going, and we're going to get into that a little bit more coming up. But, it's so tough with these injuries, man. It really, really is. And I hope I'm right, too. I'm hoping that all of these are hitting early enough in the season that, come week 12, week 13, week 14, they have all these guys back. Carlton Davis is starting. Sean Murphy-Bunting is starting. Levante David is back. I don't know how long this injury is going to last, but we've seen historically high ankle sprains are multi-week injuries, and they are very, very difficult to come back from. So fingers crossed, but they may not need him against the Eagles.
Absolutely. Look, the healthiest team is usually the most successful team. You probably heard that before, and something else you probably heard before is people having just an abundant amount of devices, ridiculous amount of devices, whether it be handhelds or things plugged into your televisions, things plugged into your computers to connect over here through this connection so that the government can't track what you're doing. You've probably got one device that lets you catch the game live. You've probably got another one that lets you stream your favorite shows, watch the sports highlights on your phones, and you've got your friend's password for the rest of the stuff. We're going to tell you now about a simple way to get all that entertainment that you love without the hassle, and a great way to finally get your TV together. It's called DirecTV Stream, and it brings your live TV and on-demand favorites together like never before. So now you can watch your favorite sports, movies, and TV shows all in one place. It means no more juggling your remotes, devices, no need to buy another device ever again. And the best part is there's no annual contract, so you can get rid of your clutter and the confusion and get your TV together with DirecTV Stream. You can learn more at DirecTV.com. That's DirecTV.com. Compatible device required. Content varies by package.
We're all busy, so when you find time to go to the doctor, it's not negotiable. You have time when you have it. You don't need to wait for a couple of weeks, wait for a couple of months, none of that. You need to be able to book and know when your appointment is ASAP. But we've got a solution to help you do that. Just go and download the free ZocDoc app, the easiest way to find a great doctor and instantly book an appointment. So whether you need a primary care physician, dentist, dermatologist, psychiatrist, eye doctor, or any other specialist, ZocDoc has you covered. I use the ZocDoc app all the time because I skipped a bunch of appointments that I probably should have been still going to over the course of this last year or so, and I'm trying to get caught up. I need to be able to book things when I know that I have time, and ZocDoc makes healthcare easy. So now is the time to prioritize your health. Go to ZocDoc.com/NFL and download the ZocDoc app to sign up for free and book a top-rated doctor. Many are available as soon as today. That's ZocDoc.com/NFL.
Segment 2 here at the Locked On Bucs podcast. Victory Monday, James. It's enjoyable being able to say that as much as we get to these days. For the first chunk of our time covering this team, we didn't get as many of them, so it was kind of rare. But now I almost have to pause and say this is just force of habit. But here we are, Victory Monday once again.
2 for 2 on Victory Mondays since starting YouTube.
Absolutely. So I mean,
I think not.
I think that has to be tied in some way, shape, or form to YouTube views and subscriptions, right? So if you guys haven't already, please go ahead, head over to the YouTube page, just search Locked On Bucs on YouTube, click subscribe, click the notification button, and be like Youssef. Let us know what you think about the show. Let us know what you think about the topics and the conversation. We'd love to hear from you guys as always, and we thank you as always for making Locked On Bucs your first listen every day. Again, free and available on all platforms. James, offense. Let's talk Buccaneers offense. We kind of already talked about Tom Brady, but again, 30 for 41, 411 yards, 5 touchdowns, a 144.4 QBR. The second highest QBR in this game, Blaine Gabbert, 4 for 4, 41 yards in relief, 109.4 QBR. Leonard Fournette, just 12 catches, sorry, so not a very big part of the offense, obviously, with just 67 yards and a touchdown. Ronald Jones got his 5 touches and 21 yards. Gio Bernard, 4 touches for 21 yards. Tom Brady with the clutch scramble near the end of the first half for his one run for 13. I mean, just a lot to love about this offense, especially in this performance, but overall. But what are your kind of biggest takeaways, specifically looking at the offense from both?
Well, the number one takeaway that I have is this is Leonard Fournette's backfield, period, end of discussion. I've been holding out hope that we were going to see the Ronald Jones of 2020 that nearly rushed for 1,000 yards. He just flat out does not have it this year compared to what Leonard Fournette is doing. Leonard is more decisive. He's more elusive. He's hitting the holes faster. He's making plays. He's making guys miss. He just looks like the better all-around back. He's catching passes out of the backfield and creating first downs and creating plays that way. When Ronald Jones is in, it's just not the same. So moving forward, I wrote about it in my pick 6 that's going to be on Bucs Nation Monday morning. Leonard Fournette should be out touching Ronald Jones at the bare minimum 2-1. Maybe it should even be 3-1. But Leonard Fournette is the better running back in this offense right now today. And until we see anything that makes us think differently, then it needs to be the Leonard Fournette show out of the backfield. That said, the only other thing that I want to throw out there, and I don't know, David, if you noticed or not, but that final drive with the starters, okay, before they pulled Brady and all those guys, it was the second touchdown pass to Mike Evans after the Jamel Dean interception. The receivers on the field, Mike Evans, Antonio Brown, and Tyler Johnson. We did not see Chris Godwin at all in that next to last drive. Now, when they pulled Brady and Blaine Gabbert was in, okay, you had Tyler Johnson out there, but then there was also a play where he hits Antonio Brown for a 20-yard gain and a first down. Mike Evans was out there on the last play before the 2-minute drill. My question is, what happened to Chris Godwin? I don't remember seeing an injury of any sort. I don't know what really happened there. Maybe it's of no concern, but it's something that I noticed and kind of was concerned about.
Well, going back to the week leading up to the game, he was on the injury report, if you remember. He had a thumb injury listed on the injury report leading into the weekend, and I actually wondered myself if that's not the same thumb that he missed time with last year, because it was the thumb that he broke and had pins in, if I remember correctly. So I don't know if that specifically is the same thumb or if it's even the same hand. But he was on the injury report. I think he was a full participant anyway every single practice, so not obviously a huge concern. But I mean, again, with the game in hand, for the most part, but kind of still wanting to keep the gas pressed down a little bit. Don't let up too early, too soon. Maybe though, you take Chris off the field, you let Tyler Johnson get out there on the field. It's still a very productive day for Chris Godwin. I mean, 7 catches, 70 yards on 11 targets, and then we had a couple of in-ground type plays, and just an all-around versatile weapon for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense there in Mr. 1-4. So yeah, not a focal point of the offense, right? But that's something that we've kind of talked to everybody about, especially those in fantasy football land. You can't draft a Buccaneers player and say, look, every single week you expect to put points, except if it's maybe Tom Brady. Then of course Antonio Brown's probably your best chance, and now apparently Leonard Fournette moving forward is going to be the running back to lean on in all fantasy formats. So yeah, I mean we'll see. Especially, think about the Thursday turnaround, right, James? Typically you don't hear coaches like making decisions for next week while the game this week is still going on. But hey, maybe somebody got in the year of Byron Leftwich or Bruce Arians and said, hey, we got a game, guys, in 4 days, so maybe we take Chris off, let him ice that thumb and get a little bit healthy. So I'm not too worried about it. Not worried until there's a reason to be worried. I like seeing OJ Howard back in action a little bit. 2 catches, 19 yards. Not a great day by any means, but we kind of talked about it last week, and we mentioned that we want to see him kind of get that motor going a little bit. Maybe this is kind of a little bit of a sign of things to build, and maybe he can make an impact against Philadelphia Eagles next week. Something I noticed, James, is the development of an offensive scheme and learning from what your opponents are doing. The Miami Dolphins defense is how similar they were to the New England Patriots defense, and how the New England Patriots came out, and granted, weather on their side, of course, doing some things to kind of bend, don't break, force the Buccaneers to score from within the 20-yard line, force them to score close. But I saw a lot from the Buccaneers today, and maybe I just noticed it more, you know what I mean? Because I was kind of looking for it more, or maybe it's real. But a lot of impact blocking, and I go back to one of those Mike Evans touchdowns. Mike Evans catches the ball, and Jaden Mickens goes out there and lays his body on the line to get a defender out of the way, escorts Mike Evans into the end zone. And I'm not saying we never saw that kind of stuff before, but just seeing today, look at the big Antonio Brown touchdown. Again, there was a wide receiver, a fellow teammate of his downfield, helping to kind of create the lane that he was able to run through to get downfield and then get up and down north and south and use those jets to get into the end zone. It seemed like there was just a more concerted effort by the wide receivers to block for each other after the catch. And I think that is perhaps something that they saw against New England. They said, look, guys, if a defense is going to play us like this, you've got to go out there and clear out the clutter and let your teammates have some room to run after the catch. And I think they paid attention to that. And it looks to me like that's what we saw in Week 5. Flipping over to the defense, though, James, there was a little bit of bending. I got it, and there was a little bit more breaking than I think a lot of people want. But I gotta give a little bit of props to young Jamel Dean. Look, one of the last times we saw him on the field before he got hurt, he was dropping a huge interception. It turns out to be a pivotal crossroads point for his team. They take their first loss of the game or of the season this weekend. I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't say that the game hinged necessarily on that point, but the Miami Dolphins were certainly still out there trying to put forth an effort, try to put a comeback bid together. What happens? He comes up with an interception I retweeted a tweet about it, said he definitely didn't drop that one. So happy to see Jamel, one, get back on the field, bounce back from that injury, and then two, also come back, because we've seen it before. Players get the yips and they just start dropping everything. Jamel Dean definitely kept his hands on that interception.
Yeah, it was great to see Jamel get the interception, but I was not thrilled with this defensive performance. And I know, earlier in the show you said you hold an NFL team to 17 points. You should be proud of that, and it shouldn't matter that it's Jacoby Brissett out there at quarterback. But to me, it does matter a little bit. You had Jacoby Brissett at quarterback. You were missing your top two wide receivers in Devontae Parker and Will Fuller, and you allowed 3 scoring drives of over 70 yards to the Miami Dolphins. You gave them their longest scoring drive of the season. And what was really concerning and frustrating to me was the pass rush was getting there. There was a moment where Shaq Barrett and JPP both had Jacoby Brissett wrapped up, and he still completed a pass for a first down. It's inexcusable. Shaq had a great game, but they have to finish those plays. And there was somebody on Twitter that had replied to one of the tweets that I put out on Bucs Nation when I talked about Richard Sherman with that defensive pass interference in the end zone, and he said, get rid of him. Like, already, get rid of Richard Sherman. Okay, no, that's stupid, because who are you going to replace him with? Richard Sherman will be fine, but it was just another example of how he's not ready yet. He hasn't had the offseason. He didn't have the preseason. He didn't have the training camp. He's still working his way back to being Richard Sherman. So no, you don't get rid of him, but Sherman cannot make those kinds of mistakes either. You want to give up some yards, I understand. You give up some of these short routes, you make the tackle, fine. Don't tug on a guy on third down in the end zone and give the opposing team first and goal at the 1. So I still have some gripes with the defense, but overall, I would say it's a little bit better than what we've seen this season.
Yeah, and I hear what you're saying, and I think that a lot of people are going to echo the same sentiments. I look at it like this. I think what I saw today was a smarter Jacoby Brissett, a more prepared, a more comfortable Jacoby Brissett. I know he looked terrible.
We're the Speedy Boys. Let's go. Let's go, Speedy Boys. Oh, this is unreal. This is unreal. White work truck. We're gonna get slaughterhouse by a white work truck. Jesus fucking Christ. Behind me, bitch.
gets a little bit of a boost with 17 to 18 grams of protein, 130 to 180 calories, 4 to 5 grams of sugar, 4 to 5 grams of net carbs. Go to built.com, use promo code LOCKED15, and you're going to get 15% off your order. Again, promo code LOCKED15, LOCKED15 at built.com.
This is Andy Kamenetsky, co-host of the Locked On Lakers podcast, and I love bread. Like, I really love it. I can eat 3 meals a day with nothing but bread. I'll be totally happy, as long as it's the right kind of bread. Like Dave's Keto Bread, America's #1 organic bread. It's got the killer taste, killer nutrition, killer texture. Texture is the key. Otherwise, it might as well just be a sponge. It's power-packed, grains, fiber, protein. It's the bread equivalent of super deep meal bread, 80 restaurant breads, beef bread, whether for your toast, sandwiches, snack bites, straight out the bag. Don't even bother with the toppings, it's that freaking good. Dave's Killer Bread is the bread for those who obsess with bread like me. So visit daveskillerbread.com or look for Dave's Killer Bread and bread on it for your grocery store.
Wrapping things up here on a Victory Monday edition of the Locked On Bucks podcast. James Yarko, David Harrison on Twitter at JYarko_Bucks at DHarrison82. David, let's go ahead and kick things over to the voicemail line before we name our plays and players of the game.
Fire to Cannon, boys. Matt from Morgan, Georgia. Sitting here with Troy and Hank. And we're excited about the Buccaneers victory. Fortunately, CBS down here on the Georgia Florida line, Buzz Jackson, outside our play. Inside play. Lincoln Jackson up next. The squad. Yeah, Hank, what do you think about that? That's what they do. But too much going on in the training is terrible, but we got to see some stuff. But we're looking forward to hearing you guys give your take on the game. There's a lot of bumpers and stuff like that. It's pretty frustrating. But a win's a win, and we're glad to see that. We're playing around in such a freak football right now. We have a big day. But looking forward to hearing from y'all. Let's go Bucks. Fire them cannons.
It's brutal, man. Out of the mouths of babes. Matt, thank you for the call. Troy is crushing it in baseball right now. I don't know if you've seen the videos that Matt has posted. He's absolutely crushing it. So it's great to hear from you guys. Why don't we go ahead?
I haven't gone that fast in a Saturday. Oh, Buck, man, the gears are so short. 90 miles an hour, 4,000 RPMs. The red line is fucking 65. Jesus, that's too much. I gotta calm down. The car's getting old. It's not a performance car. These morning people really do drive like pricks. I mean, they really do. Ooh, 335 and we're this low? Could be a bad tank. Could be a bad tank. Me and this Chevy, we can coexist. Okay, I'm gonna go with the little Colorado, dude, because you're a bitch. All right. Well then. That was not a good tank, I don't think. We're probably in the 20. I think we're in the 23. So that means I gotta slow it back down. Those extra 5 miles an hour I've been doing lately to get home fast. It's not worth it. Gotta drop it back down to 60, 70. Was it 60, 70? Was it? Holy fuck, dude. I'll be goddamned if I'm behind you on the on-ramp. Holy shit. What is it, 75 on the freeway? I think it's 75 freeway, 60 Rice, yeah, 60 Rice, 70 PCH, 60 Curvy PCH. Yeah. Stop getting involved in these getting pissed off incidents. Jesus fuck, dude, for fuck's sake. And then I get pissed off. This fucking dickhead. You cut me off, bro, I will literally fight you. There you go. There you go, bitch. 25. I need to wash the view very badly. It's really, really dirty. Fucking God, he's fucking slow. 5:29. It's not bad. 37 minutes compared to I've taken up to what 44 minutes I think. All the way. There you go. Can't see shit because my reverse lights don't turn on immediately, which is the weirdest fucking thing. I've never heard of that before.